Welcome back to the Martinliedtke channel. Today, we're going to be looking over an old atlas, a Vander Aa atlas from 1733, and we're going to see what we could discover. Now, I have looked over this maybe 8 years ago on YouTube, and there are indeed some unbelievable discoveries to be made. And it's Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, and as you can see there, Estonia, where my father hailed from, Tallinn, the Baltic states down into beautiful Poland. So what are these maps showing? Well, they definitely show what I would consider the real history. Got a lot of interest in the past showing Vander Aa atlases, and also upset some people because for some reason they don't want you showing the real history. So what you always get is a bird's eye perspective. So it's from outside the city. You always seem to get some sort of wrecked tree outside, and there's a load of people looking in on the beautiful city, which is full of antiquitech. In fact, these Vander Aa atlases is where I decoded antiquitech. I'm wondering why there were so many spires in such a condensed area and reaching up into the ether with the resonators. And it all came together years ago. So yeah, let's have a look at these. So yeah, a bit of a story behind Vander Aa. I've been into Flemish maps and Flemish art for quite some time. That I'm not alone in this interest. See, you always see the broken trees outside, bird's eye perspective. I was a reminder of Armageddon in these. And look at this fine architecture with the onion domes. Looks slightly Moorish to the flavour, even though it's in Poland. So yeah, Vander Aa. So yeah, they were brothers that made these maps. Pierre Budwin, which sounds actually really Welsh, Budwin. But he was the brother of Vander Aa, and he died in 1733, the very year that these actual maps were published. So Sobinski of Poland seems to be some sort of imagined Roman emperor. We have the same Phoenician, Phrygian cap, and others from what seemingly is another realm, which imbue these leaders with power. So yeah, these maps show his military prowess and gains. The finery, the horse, got really weird pointy ears, I must say. But you've got to ask yourself, how is there so much detail? How are they all in a bird's eye perspective? You know, I mean, there's 100 things going on in these pictures. You can see individual fights. You can see just individual faces. So almost as if it's some sort of early photography, or maybe even, you know, getting the image captured, maybe silk screen printed, along those lines. But I find it phenomenal that the engraver, although they were fantastic, had so much detail and these people's faces, almost as if, in some regards, that he was there. The biblical ones, he couldn't have been there, but the detail is absolutely fantastic. Does that mean that it's all more recent? Who even knows? But this is the Siege of Deliverance of the Chateau Tremboula by Jean Sobinski, who's an emperor. He's going to do it. He's going to do an invasion or a siege. Let's have a look what he's got going on. So he's got a lot of mercenaries, Tartars, Cossacks working for him. And these guys in turbans, yeah. They got muskets and they got a Muslim encampment, which would have been Mohammedans back then, because Muslim is a new sort of phrase. Giant cannons that are hidden away under the antiquitechs. So what are they attacking? A giant starfort, maybe? So there's the castle Starfort. So a siege. So they can't get any food in or out, maybe. And advanced trench lines. And they're using camels to shift stuff. Have a little look down here. So as I said, I will link this up so you can take your time to mag up and check out all of this weirdness going on. So yeah, proper frontline trenches. They're using camels with towers on the back with people in them. Really unusual. How big are these camels? Try doing that on a modern camel. Are they bigger camels? And a whole load of armament for 1733 cannonry, as you can see. And extended trench lines where they're dragging up the cannons to the front lines. Anyway, so apparently he took that siege. Soon he'll be going back to the capital to celebrate. And here it is. Okay, one of them. The detail is phenomenal. The triumph of Jean III Sobieski of Poland. And as you can see, Poland, Grand Duchy of Lithuania, Ukraine, etc., 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 including the Turks, the Tatars, and the Cossacks, who apparently are under his employ, as you will see in this picture. So let me just reduce it a bit. So yeah, he's coming back into the city after his triumph, and it's fully Phoenician and coded. So we'll start from this corner over here. Okay, we have the Phoenician pouring water, Emperor. He's an Emperor. And we have a blonde guy who has a large head, but he's definitely it's got a bit of the Fu Manchus about it with that moustache, but usual nose. So we got the Tartars, we got the Cossacks, Sabichi hosts, and they are all, like you wouldn't do to Xerxes, on their knees submitting to the power of this emperor. Here is a load of Tartars on horseback. But they're all bowing down, or maybe they're being forced to bow down. But anyway, the procession's coming in. You'll see a lot of Muslim. You can see a spark here on top of the tent, antiquitech. And up here, this building, temple, is fully Phoenician. Look at this. We'll start at the top. We've got the pyramid, Phoenician statues, SPQR, the Roman, the Holy Roman Empire is very much up and running at this period. As you can see, still using Latin, still got all of the Phoenician iconography. Giant camels. They are rather large, I think. So yeah, we've got the eagle with the wings open, interesting. And the advancing army. Right, let's take a look at the emperor himself. Here he is, with a special covering over him. And that's not to keep off the heat, off the rain. I think this is some sort of antiquitech device. You can see it's got an eagle with wings open, sort of telling you that it could be along those lines. Eagle there, wings open. And this strange configuration on top here, antiquitech. So I think this thing, is some sort of like early organite technology. Maybe you can even control the weather. So he's got a hand there, so he can like nudge people with the hand, or tap them on the shoulder maybe. So yeah. So where is he coming into? Well, let's have a look. A big palace full of Phoenicians. We're supported by heavenly hosts, as you can see, watching everything. Axe, crown, not sure what that says, but the M you will see is always present. Serpent around the pole, active charge. Why is the statue looking at that statue? I do not know. But there's a lot of subversing of the people, subjection of the people going on here. I can see this elite family with their elite brats out on the balcony, a little bit like the royal family used to do before. Now they can't go out in public without being heckled. You have the double M and M 33. But is it for Medici? You know, what is the designation for this M? I have yet to find out. But the wreaths and the garlands of the Phoenicians and their slaves, who are the Vatican and the Jesuits, who do their beckoning. The Phrygian hat. Okay, so this elite is coming out and greeting the envoy of the returning army. There's the trumpets in the background, so it's all musical. And they got a crown there. They're looking at one another a bit dodgy. And like that's a real thing there. Okay, you have the, I'm guessing, you could call it Apollo, you could call it some call it Gaia, some call it Diana. But it's many-breasted, and she is dropping pennies from heaven for the people below. And aren't they grateful? Liberty! Chalky rations are up. This lady here. I'm not sure what's going on with that one. Pubica. Let's have a look. Oh, that is really freaky. So yeah, so the people are happy to just take a little bit of coinage off of the government, and that is definitely the case in the modern day. Conservatives, eh? Temple of Conservatives. Dear. What, this guy? Is he real? I guess so. So yeah, high level freakiness. All right, let's just continue. So I'll link this up because there's 1,000 things I'm missing. There's always someone nailed up in the background. Anyway, let's move on to this great adventure of Lead Vander Aa, the greatest engravers, I think, in history. Oh, Vander Aa is. And they went to Britain, to China, documented all they seen. Like I say, it's all from an outside perspective, almost as if you took a little shot with a camera or some sort of device, only to scratch it down later on the engraving process. So, carry on. So, Lublin, let's have a look at this beautiful city in Poland. She's a Starforter. All the crops outside the city walls after Armageddon. Check out that for a an antiquitech device. That's just a big star. That's not for aesthetics. 2 towers, like Tesla towers. The vane, the weather vane, that can capture a charge. You can buy them today online. Literally flags that capture a charge. Wow, look at these. Look at that one. It's a rocket. It's got a castle. Double crosses. Oh man, just unbelievable antiquitech in this city. Fully active, no doubt. And outside, just little suburbs, I suppose you could call them, still in the mud. And the area's here in the mud. And this is recently found, getting the food back online after Armageddon. And digging the cities out of the mud, as you will witness very shortly. Now, map of Poland. Okay, let's have a little look. I'll link them maps up if you want to give them closer scrutiny a little bit later. Varsovie, not sure about that city, but it's full of beautiful buildings, some of which look a little bit oriental. Look at the map underneath. And the river banks, it's looking a bit muddy. But all of these buildings, they look like the tops of buildings, maybe. I definitely think Poland was fully mud flooded. Look at that for a Starfort. Wow. It's all water outside. We've got some settlements and some streets. What looks looks like a helter-skelter here. Some crazy tower. Another tower here with a crown on top. Do you ever see a church like that in the modern day? Oof, no. Forum Manus, the main forum. Very Romanesque. So yeah, we don't in this field actually think that these Starforts were built for military purposes. We think that they were repurposed as military bastions, but not originally, built by another civilization. They got destroyed in the mudflood. Wow, I wonder what them three are. The more domes on top. Got to be doing something. Why would you have them there? Look at the size of that tower. Wow. So that place is not very Starforty, but the mud is certainly up against the fence. A few settlements outside. A crucifixion victim. And two people. Wow. A church. And some people outside, as usual. Farming. Outside the Starfort. The population inside. But always outside from a bird's eye perspective in all Vander Aa atlases. So yeah, I could show more in the future if anybody wants to see any. This is Kaminiek, and it is the most mind-blowing image you will ever see of mudflood, and this is just mind-blowing. Kaminiek, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but look at this, guys. This is ground level, and the whole city is below ground level. They dug it out of the mud. Check it out. That is the plain, the ground level, and everything is below. So you've got these huge cliffs where they came down, and then they dug out this city with this huge Starfort. You can see, you know, the earthworks, if you want to call them that, there. And the rest of the dirt has been removed. There's no denying that that city is below ground level. And the whole thing, to me, I think it's been dug out of the mud. Look at this. The high cliffs. This city's there in the modern day. You can check it out. It doesn't look half as impressive. Neither does the cliff, but it's definitely below ground level. You can see these Moorish style, beautiful buildings. And they're doing all the farming on the outskirts, as you can see. Little dwellings and little farming lots. Still mud around, as you can see. And some blocks, street blocks. There's the river that goes straight through. Some Sumatres, probably pronouncing that wrong, but crops either side of it get irrigated. And the river goes right the way around. A little island there with a water wheel, a few arches, right the way around the whole city. It's just amazing. You see some sort of obelisk there, but the mud is there, you can see. And across this bridge, it must be a really high bridge across the river, is a beautiful villa fortress. This fortress is a Starfort Chateau Neuf, which is a beautiful Starfort. The rest, well, deep embankments of mud, paths. Oh, that guy looks like a giant. Oh, let me mark that out a bit so you can see that again. Absolutely fantastic image. What have I found in a 1733 atlas indeed? Do you deny that that is below ground level? Indeed not. Let's move on. And we have a giant battle going on. Again, you know, how are they doing this? All from the outside perspective. So many different scenes going on. And the Tala River, the Dnieper River. And a giant battle ensuing. The gain for power after a reset. A lot of people dying in the water. A lot of people scrambling up the muddy banks and not really making it. So absolute carnage, as you can see. And there's a campment there, which looks like maybe a Ottoman encampment with the antiquitech. And another encampment over here with a different style of tent. There's a giant Starfort here, as you can see, with a lot of people inside. So as I said, they were repurposed, these Starforts, and the engravings show some sort of battles. So how are they doing that from this bird's eye perspective? Is he up on a balloon scraping away on his engraving, guys? How is it? How is this image that we're looking at now even possible? Could it be that AI has been here all along and has been giving us the history? Because this looking, as I'm looking at it now, this is the Ukraine. As I'm looking at it now, it really does look like something is going on, because the information is very, telling, and not really along the lines of official history either. Beekeeping is a big business with the Phoenicians. Look at this beautiful settlement. Oh, very uniformic croppage. We've got hospitals and citadels and mansions and villas in the capital of Lithuania, which is Vilnius, as you all know. Like I said, I'm from an Estonian background. I grew up an Estonian boy. I was going to Estonian camp and all things Estonian. So got a bit of an affinity with the Polish people. I've been there twice and loved them very much indeed. I was made to feel like I was one of them because I'm Estonian, practically am. So Prussia, Royal Prussia, that's the Prussians, who ends up part of the German Empire that came along in 1871 after the Franco-Prussian War, when Germany unified Saxony and Bavaria and Prussia and all of these states. Alberg, I've been there. Got splattered in World War II, did that. So look at that beautiful Starfort. Oh my God. Whew. Still all mud outside though. What this designates, you've got a plant man there made out of a leaf. You may have seen my post last night concerning plant people, or the man drake. But yeah, these are fantastic. So yeah, you always get water around, you always get water in or fed through. So that could be just as simple as hydroelectrics, but they're structuring the water with a fractal geometry, setting it, charging it. I imagine the water that people were on years ago would have been absolutely fantastic. Thorion is another Starfort. Let's have a look at this beauty. Wow. On the river Vistula. So yeah. So everywhere in the world got the same design of Starforts, like the military enemies are all sharing the same plans, are they? I don't think so. And up in the corner of the Starfort there, they built a church. Which came first, the Starfort or the church? That church looks Gothic and old. And these Starforts attributed to being built in the 16th, 17th century. That church looks like it's older. But that's not true. I think that the Phoenicians built them. They're the masters of water after all. And these places are fully encoded. And I saw evidence years ago of they attributed to being Roman. And I think Romans are psyop. And I really do think what we're looking at is Phoenician activity. Masters of the sea. What the hell is that? A plant person again, is it? As soon as I start talking about plant people. So yeah, Lead, like the city. And look how close that is to Liedtke. Lead, the town in Holland. Or the university as well in Lead. Which has Pierre Vander Aa. Wow, let's have a look at that again. Totally freaky. Let's have a look at this beautiful Starfort city. multi-tiered, this one. Imagine sailing in there. Beautiful in your own world. Smell of coffee. These look a bit Tartar, these people. But Ukraine, that area, not actually surprised that there's the Tartars are in Ukraine. Pilu. Again, outside perspective. Again, exactly the same height on the perspective. Again, in every single engraving. How is it done? How is so much detail put down? How is he scraping this? How is he? It seems impossible to me, guys. There's obviously some sort of early process of photography or something along those lines going on, because he's literally witnessing these. Beautiful photography on the maps, by the way. Little last look. So yeah, I'm going to do some more of this sort of work, guys. Let me know what you think in comments. They are pretty fantastic. I'll link this up with a couple more in descriptions, and we'll look at a few more Vander Aas in the near future. I've got another couple of posts. I'm going to be doing more posts that I have just sat there for the members, for my members, because I haven't put enough up for the members. I'm going to start doing that from this week. So if you want to be joining the membership and get content that's not shown anywhere else, wow, that's freaky. And there's a cargo boat. And there's the destroyed tree that you get outside of all the images, really. It's a little reminder. Post-reset civilization, just finding their way. So yeah, members are welcome, and thank you for subscribing if you did. Thank you for liking this video if you did. Just thank you generally for being here. I'm very grateful. Look at the antiquitech on top of these onion domes, guys. Wow, it's so over the top. They're much bigger than the domes and the devices. Very prominent indeed. Not as prominent in the modern day, but the days of antiquitech. Whew. Look at this place. Wow. Let's move on. Oh, another juicy Starfort. The villa capital, Moscow. Moscow has a giant Starfort around it. Let's have a look at the capital of Muscovy. It says Twira. So there's a lot of mud outside. Always that outside perspective. Broken tree, just grown back. Every image. And there's the juicy Starfort. These onion domes are crazy. That one looks pineal glandish. Pineapple-y. Pineapple domes, that one's. Pineapple domes. And a beautiful big Starfort, jam-packed full of antiquitech devices being protected by the stealthiness with bounce-back electromagnetic attacks by fascist type weapons. If they were using them in the past, I think that they were using electromagnetics as they are in the modern day. Okay, beautiful. I would love to go on a galley. So these cargo ships I've never seen before. They are really big boats with all of them rowing on the roof, which I've never seen anywhere actually. Not any reference to in anywhere. So that's quite fantastic. So have a look. They've not needed a Starfort in this wooden town, but they have got antiquitech going on. Check that out. Woo! Wow. Okay, moving on. Wow, this is the Starfort of Moscow. So yeah, you can see it on the old. I've got loads of old maps of Moscow to show you the ginormous Starfort around the entire city. Just unbelievable. And Moscow now is a vast city. So this Starfort is in there somewhere, but it's just encompassed within the city limits. Outside, a plain of nothing. A plain of nothing. Unbelievable. They got all the city in a Starfort, apparently. With absolutely fine antiquitech devices in the city of Moscow. Wow. Again, the river's running through, meandering around. This will eventually become an oxbow, a lake, maybe. But all by design. Wow. And I can note that this really looks like the human brain as well. Would you agree? Yeah. I think there's something in that as well. Okay, let's move on. Let's have a look at the capital, Moscow, from outside. All right, so it's just all muddy. Broken tree. So obviously broken trees outside because Armageddon was before. And muddy hills. Trees are growing back, no problem, but they're still young. Let's have a look. So the river Moscow, the Vilnius Moscow River. So yeah, this is 1733. Okay, guys. So what? 30 years or less than that, 15 years before this period, Napoleon marched into this town. I wonder what entrance it was from the east. Only to find the city on fire and the population missing. But apparently they're all back or coming back by this time. But I'm thinking with 1816 and the events of 1816, it was definitely a reset period. You have New Madrid happening in America. Here's the Kremlin, which is a very expansive, beautiful star fort. That's north, okay. So yeah, Moscow. And Napoleon came in here, all these beautiful buildings around Red Square in the Kremlin. Let's see if we can find the Tsar Bella, because apparently it's going to be in a tower, okay, guys? The Tsar Bell is there. In this period, it's fallen in some sort of earthquake from the tower, and in here is how did they lift it up in this wooden gantry? It's on some concrete blocks in the modern day, or some stone blocks, and this isn't broken here. Wow, the Tsar Bell isn't broken in 1733. Wow. Wow. That's quite interesting because it should have been cracked then. Or maybe after. We'll check the dates. They can't really know when it got cracked. Same time as the Liberty Bell got cracked, they say. Well, the bells got cracked at the same time. Look at this with wires off it into the building. Wow. Again. So I bet you could discover a million things with these atlases. Just take your time with them. As I said, link it up. Enjoy them at your own leisure. They're very beautiful. Size of that thing. Again, though, it's got these massive buttresses to hold up the exterior wall. I'm thinking this thing's going a damn sight lower. Wonder what that is. An amphitheater of some sort. Wow. Absolutely mind-blowing. So I'm not sure what's happening with the Tsar Bell in that. It's intact and in a different housing and supposed to be at the top of a tower that it fell down in the Kremlin in some sort of earthquake, like they get earthquakes or something. They keep saying that. Wow. They keep saying that. I bet some of these are made of ceramic and tiles, which are great conductivity properties. Wow, look at it. Quite breathtaking. And what brilliant engraving. Okay, we got some dominated Partry people going on there, smacking him on the head with a cross. Wow. And they all got like blonde hair. They all sort of look the same as well. Oh, that's your monk's view, though. The Orthodox, they're pretty strict, aren't they? Here's another Orthodoxy march. It's a celebration in the Kremlin. There's a load of church people. Let's have a look. Wow, very impressive. The background. Pyramid thing there. And it says St. Nicholas there. Okay, we got some giants, have we? Very possibly. Very possibly giants. They look massive. Okay, so we got some celebrations. People with, I'm not sure, they got bells. Are these bells? think they might be bells. They're carrying something that looks bell-like in their hand. Makes sense, really. Okay, so they're in a good old celebration, are they? Okay, what's going on here? What are these things? What are these planks? What are these for? Trees on the back of a float. That's weird. Should have a tree on the back of it. Oh, there's a tree in front. Okay, there's just two people. See my mistake. Don't quote me on that. So yeah, they get all the faces of these people. Don't know they're doing it. Again, outside perspective. And a load of churchy types. So yeah, they're proper mind controlled, all dressed the same. Whoa, look at the Cossack hats. Oh, he's got really long arms. Wow, okay. Phew. Freaky. I guess in this perspective, and they may not be giants. But wow, how weird is that? Some people have been mind controlled for the longest time, haven't they? You get inside what goes on. They got them fuzzy hats. I imagine you can't wear them in the cinema. Sit behind them. So who's the emperor? There he is there. Looks like Fu Manchu. He's even got a pointy hat. Literally looks oriental. And all of this weirdness is like, you don't see this in churches. It's just really strange stuff. All of it is strange. And what else is going on? Kiss it. Go on, fucking kiss it. Making him kiss stuff. Like making him. So if you don't kiss it, we will make you pay. Okay, that's really weird. It's a sermon. An audience with the ambassador. So you got to kiss the ambassador's piece of paper. Kiss my ring. No, I don't think so. So, crucifixion. No, they said I could go. Really? Yeah. No, I'm only joking. One cross to the left. 3 nails. Oh, he's got no leg. Could be a leper. No, he'd be on a leper colony, away from everyone. That's strange, isn't it, leper colonies? I have talked about lepers before. Oh, right, that's that Jesus. Doesn't really look like, does it? Looks more like Apollo. This is the same Statue of Liberty dress. So Satan. Cross. Oh, they get away with murder, don't they? Like, literally. No! No! It's not! It is! Right, the ecclesiasticals. Let's have a look at them. Smell my fingers. So the ecclesiasticals look a bit boring. Look at the... Whew. I tell you what, these religious denominations need to hippify it a bit. They're so blasé, boring. He's got a baseball bat, in case you know, like what he says. Or a bit of a shillelagh going on. I'm sure that's politically motivated shillelagh. Okay, let's move on. Let's have a look at some more people. So I hope you enjoy my video. I'm enjoying showing you these groovy images. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. It's all very strange, though, in the world. Moscow, Tartaria. I've actually got the Tartarian lead Vander Aa out. That shows giants and some strange worldwide deities and cults that are being run. It's the wine. Oh, they're not dressed very smart in this place, but everyone's dressed exactly the same because they got their clothes from the quartermaster stores when they arrived. So this looks like it might be baptism. Bappos. Just dunk the kid in the water and all will be well. In the well. Or dunk the kid in the well and it'll be well. Well. It may be possessed, but all will be well. Okay, graves. There are graves in the past. That's good news. Wow, that's weird. Jumper on a coffin. And everyone's like, wow. The third, ceremonies of the Muscovites. And let's have a look at this little last image. Columna. I'm not sure if you heard of that one. We got a broken tree. We sure have. We got antiquitech. We sure have. Not much of a Starfort, more of a castle going on there. So I'm just coming to the end of this book now. Tomsk in Muscovite is, ooh, any broken trees outside? Yeah, surely is. It's like taking photographs of the power plants of the time. Oh yeah, many more to come soon. Make sure to subscribe. I'm going to be back in 2 Shakes of a Lamb's Tail. I've just come off a strike. I've been on a strike. I'm 10 days off. Did a livey last night, which you can catch up on, which will be linked at the end of this video. I click it. It was a really interesting rabbit hole concerning the mandrake root, its medical properties. Tartaria, Tartari there, and Muscovites there, and Tartaria. So Moscow is in a peninsula, Grand Nagay. Tartaria's that side, Tartaria's that side. Okay, Astrakhan, previously one of the capital cities, Astrakhan of Tartaria. There is there. I've got pictures of this place completely destroyed, Astrakhan. It was cited as being an early or one of the Tartarian capitals, Astrakhan. So there you are. Let's have a look at this. We got the Horda, Zolotin Horda. No sign of any Scythians at this period. The Champagne deserts. So yeah, definitely prominently in 1733, Tartary was definitely very prominent, and also west of Muscovite, which is interesting because some people think that Tartary only came up to the eastern side of Tartary, to the eastern side of Muscovy, but it doesn't. It's all the way around it, and I think it was the whole world at one stage. I think the Welsh dragon tells you Tartary was sure. So yeah, let's have a look at these couple of images. Okay, yeah, make sure to subscribe, guys. I will be back very soon, in fact in a day or so. Keep an eye on this channel here for lives. And I got an interview coming in. I'm going to be talking about the new events that are coming this summer, this spring. We have the Guru Gathering coming up. We have the solstice in Scotland. We have Gert Dog Festival, where I'm going to be healing people. And hopefully I've got a Reich machine coming that I'm going to be working with and helping a lot of people with, hopefully. See how that goes. See, all in the planning. So yeah, see you on the next one, guys. Love you all very much. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.